Let's go out to the wild west of Queensland now, where there's just a fantastic story that's been developing over many years behind the scenes. It's been made public now. It's been made official. In outback Queensland, they have discovered a new dinosaur. It's all been scientifically authenticated now. It's the largest dinosaur known on the Australian continent. It is Australotitan cooperensis because it's near Coopers Creek. And we're joined now by Scott Hocknell, who's a palaeontologist with the Queensland Museum on the site. Great to talk to you, Scott. This is just fascinating news. And this particular area of Queensland there's been some rich pickings there over the years in terms of a palaeontologist's dream.
Oh, it is a paleontologist's dream. As a young fella coming out to these places when in my 20s, and we actually started the excavations when I was 24 years old, and nearly 20 years later, we've got this amazing, gigantic dinosaur behind me, a thing called Australotitan cooperensis, Australia's largest dinosaur. And imagine this is actually not just Australia's largest dinosaur, but the largest animal that ever walked the Australian outback. It's a huge animal, as you can see behind me.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Now, these are casts of the bones, not the actual bones. You recast what you find, just so we can be clear with everyone. But it's been a wonderful discovery. Now, we all learn about dinosaurs, a lot of it through our kids. This is a sauropod. So this is the sort of dinosaurs that like a brontosaurus and an ultrasaurus. It's that shape, a herbivore dinosaur. And as you say, nothing bigger than that we know of so far has ever lived on this continent.
That's right. These titanosaurs are the group that they belong to. And we have their long necks, they've got long tails, and they're huge elephantine bodies. And this particular species probably grew up to about 30 metres long and maybe weighed somewhere in the order of 50 to 70 tonnes. I mean, that's an insane amount of weight. That's dozens of elephants, or one equivalence I did, which is a bit of a weird superlative, is 1,400 red kangaroos. That's the weight of one of these big dinosaurs, because that's the biggest animal, native animal we have out here in the wild in southwest Queensland now. And the dinosaur digs are fantastic. You find these huge animals, and it's a painstaking process that takes years and years and years. So we're very, very excited to finally announced Australia's largest dinosaur.
Yeah, you've been working on it for more than a decade, I believe, or close to a decade. But just on that, tell us about the process, because there's highly trained individuals like yourself who piece this all together and do the detail of the dig. But in many cases, you're relying on local landowners and who know the reputation, who have a keen eye on what they see around the property, and they've actually discovered a lot of the bones for you.
That's right. Without the local input, without the local graziers driving around on their properties, prospecting, looking for things, none of this behind me would be possible. And in fact, you can see right in the back of the picture, you see these racks of white plaster jackets.
Yep.
That's the future of Australian dinosaurs behind me. Cooper is right now, and this is the next couple of decades behind me. So every time they go out in the field, they collect new dinosaur fossils from the properties, and they bring them back here to Eromanga. And that's really exciting because that's a local museum. This is one of the stages of the Eromanga Natural History Museum. And so the Queensland Museum, where I work, have been working with the local landholders and community groups, and they've formed this organisation. And one of the key things about it is to have a scientifically bona fide species, you have to keep the collections in perpetuity. You have to look after them, not just for a few years, but for hundreds of years, just like our state museums. And that's what these guys are dedicated to do. Now, the Eromanga township is only maybe 45 to 50 people, but they've banded together with people all across the southwest of Queensland to form this organisation and build these fantastic museum facilities. So lucky guys like me as a paleontologist get to study them. We can digitise them, we can figure out what they are, and we can share all of that 3D information, all that science with the world globally, because these sorts of dinosaurs were found across the globe. Some of the species that we've got are unique to Australia, but they do share relationships to South America and Asia. And so it really paints a picture of Australia that's very different to what's out there now.
Brilliant stuff, Scott. Congratulations to you and everybody else on your work, and thanks for sharing it with us.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
Scott Hocknell there, who's a paleontologist with the Queensland Museum. What a fantastic discovery, and imagine the joy of them. Been working on this for all those years. Now they can share it with Australia and with the world. I love doing stories like that, because I think they're fascinating, and I know you do too. Also because now and then I like to do stories that I can show my boys on record when I get home.